Welcome to Nerd Positive. This is a Facebook and YouTube live podcast that celebrates everything we feel is awesome in the hopes of spreading our fandom to you. After the live show, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you find your audio fix. Each week, we dive into the hearts of fandom, celebrating the things we love. From sci-fi to fantasy, movies to TV shows, comics to video games, we explore the universes that have captured our imaginations and made us lifelong fans in our search in the quest for the best. Expect passionate discussions, in-depth analyses, side quests, and maybe even a few things hiding under the bed. Whether you're a diehard yippee-ki-yay motherfucker or just dipping your toes in the fandom waters, Nerd Positive is the place to be. I'm your host, the self-proclaimed Emperor of Awesome, Bradley Buchanan. With me every week is my co-host, the unverified twin of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in the eyebrows, the unverified twin of Dave Bautista in the head wrinkles, the unverified twin of Carl Weathers in the mustache,
the flavor savor,
the unverified twin of Tony Todd in the earlobe. Is it the right or left earlobe?
It's the right. It's the right.
It's the right. Yeah. And finally, the unverified twin of Shamar Moore in the nipples.
Absolutely. See, the left earlobe is very much Terry Crews.
Oh, yeah.
Right earlobe, Tony Todd. Left earlobe, Terry Crews. It's quite obvious. If I wasn't wearing the headset, it'd be clear as day to you, man.
Yeah. I absolutely, man.
I can also move my earlobes like Terry Crews can move his pecs. I don't want to show out, but I really like boom. Yeah, absolutely can do in the rhythm. And wherever I go, 1,000 miles also just tends to play. Like just because I am the unverified sensei of white chicks. So,
I mean, yeah.
In fact, that might be the new edition of the unverified sensei of white chicks. That might be getting me in trouble. That might get me canceled. But yeah, we'll chill on that one for a little bit. All right, my friend. How goes?
What are we talking about?
All right. Well, first off, my name is Brian S. Dennis. Thank you, tag team partner. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, however you celebrate your holidays. We're recording the Sunday after the Christmas holiday and whatever holidays you celebrate or not. So thank you for joining us. And yes, this week we're going to talk about our top 10 favorites, but this week the S stands for Uatu. And Bradley, do you know the reference of Uatu?
I mean, it's almost like it's a question, really. It's really a question, and that question is an open. Yeah, it's like, what if?
What
if?
Yeah, so
God, he's such a perfect voice for that too.
Oh my god!
Jeffrey Wright. I mean, like, man,
is so fantastic.
Yeah,
so fantastic. I don't watch the Jennifer Hudson show just because it's on today when I'm at work. But Jennifer Hudson is, for whatever reason, something on my algorithms bring up with Jennifer Hudson on her show, which is really kind of cool, is that it apparently is her backstage staff for, I don't know if they do for all guests or for certain guests, but what they do is instead of the guest kind of coming out, even to like when a band is playing, do on late night, she has her backstage staff actually singing like a personalized song about the individual. So you seeing Jeff Wright, the first time I saw this was Jeffrey Wright coming and then just singing Jeffrey Wright's name, and dude got moves. Dude has got some moves. So I'm like, in the first place I saw Jeffrey Wright were actually in the remake or the update of Shaft, starring one Samuel L. Jackson, where the L stands for mother. All right, sir. So yes. So before we get to our favorites of the week, I have a question I would like you to ponder.
Oh, I love this.
And I also want to ask you a little about whatever. This came up again, I think it was a couple nights ago. I was talking to my son, and we were catching up on Marvel stuff. And he actually came up with the ideas of talking back and forth. We've both seen Shang-Chi and the 10 Rings, right?
Oh yeah.
So if you remember the end of Shang-Chi, one of the things that is discussed by Wong and some of the others is that the rings send out a distress signal to outer space. So I don't know if Marvel has explained this or not, but his name's Brent. I want to give Brent some credit. So Brent's thing is, what if that was a call to Galactus?
Oh.
If the 10 rings are what protect us from being consumed by Galactus, and with all the turmoil, it's basically going, all right, Galactus, come get dinner, right? Buffet's open.
Right.
Potentially, what, because it just says deep space. What
Yeah.
in Marvel can mean a lot of things, but now that the Fantastic Four is in the MCU now,
Mhm.
what if that's their way of bringing in Galactus?
Yes, please. I absolutely love that. That's fantastic.
And since we just mentioned we're talking about people who could play it now, and I've got another thing I want to bring with our favorites, but now that What If has wrapped, this season was the final season of it, and Marvel has shown a propensity of reimagining certain cast members. Think about someone that has the voice from the stars, almost godlike.
Yeah.
First off, if you bring in the Watchers into live and other things, he would make perfect sense. But what about Jeffrey Wright as the voice of Galactus?
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm for that, dude. That's good casting.
Couldn't you see it? And
I can see it. I could hear it more than I can see it.
Yes.
I can just hear it in that Uatu voice.
Yes.
I mean, honestly, it's probably gonna be way more sinister and way more darker and brooding.
Galactus
of course,
himself isn't even evil. And I forget the comic, but I think it may be a Silver Surfer that says Galactus is Galactus. He's not good or evil.
Yeah,
he's just Galactus.
Hungry.
He's hungry. Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, and I think I may say this in the pod before, then we to what this week's about. If they bring in Galactus into the MCU, and if they should win, okay, if you're going to fast, you got to give us Galactus. They already given us Doctor Doom, and they got to give us the Silver Surfer. To me, there's only one person that can play the Silver Surfer, and that is Keanu Reeves. Just that cool, almost detached yet tortured thing. I want Keanu Reeves as Norrin Rad, aka. So then you got to. I mean, he has to shave his head, but you know. And you know what? It's almost like if he does play the Silver Surfer, it's almost like he's on an excellent adventure.
Like, yeah, kind of a bogus journey. And then maybe at some point he will face the music.
And if he fails in his journey, it could be a Point Break.
Oh man, well done. All
right, my guy.
All right, so I got a couple of lunch break reviews. I'm gonna be working on. I took a little bit of a break, but I'm gonna get back to. I am so far behind on my comics, so I'm gonna try to bust a bunch of those out this week. I'm gonna get Absolute Batman #3 and Wonder Woman #3 at least done this week, and then I'll get back on track. I just did one a lunch break review for Nosferatu about an hour ago, so yeah, we'll talk about that.
I can't wait to hear
our favorites of the week. Brian, you want to go first today?
Yes, sir. So favorites of the week, movies are Carry On, good. Gave us, and the best thing about Carry On, if you haven't seen it, Carry On is really good. The best part about Carry On is Jason Bateman as a bad guy. Very, very cold, psychological, and taking we all know Jason, especially in our age bracket, you know him back from the Hogan Family and then Arrested Development and a lot of the
Teen
movies.
Teen Wolf 2.
Teen Wolf 2 may be where we all got started as nerds going, you know what, sometimes you should have stopped at one when making a sequel. Okay. By the way, you can't tell me that all that fur was hygienic in a boxing ring. Just didn't quite make sense.
Correct.
The only thing they could have done to make Teen Wolf 2 better, we should prevent this, is maybe another student at his college would have been like at a Cinder Van Helsing. Like, give me something.
Right.
Give me something.
Yeah.
But then he was really good. And then the other big movie that I watched, 688, which is so good.
Yeah.
So good. And the outside of the spectrum, serious biopic. this was hip to me last night, and I got to give a shout out to my friend Katie who told me this last night. One of the main characters in 6888, I believe it's the character portrayed by Kerry Washington, actually spent time. Brad and I live in the Des Moines, Iowa area. Yes, Des Moines and Iowa have black people. I'm a transplant though, so they only count half of me. Is actually spent time at legitimately Fort Des Moines, man.
Really?
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
You and I also used to work right next to Fort Des Moines. That's how we met. So yeah, so a little thing there. Bring that up. So movies wise with 6888 and Carry On, I do got to want to ask you about later on. And then my signature show, of course, Creature Commandos. So good, so good, so good. James Gunn. We see you working. You're gonna. I've never had as much faith that the DC extended universe can possibly be good. Then if he can bring in, now obviously doing an animated feature, you have far more control. You do live action, but still, and I mean we have like Alan Tudyk. Come on, man. We got David Harbour. Come on now. But with that being said, Creature Commandos is one of the better animated shows up there right now. It might have to be topping Vox Machina with me at this point. But then the another one that if you haven't watched it yet is I Know You Love You, a reality game show, and this is on Prime, is Beast Wars. I think I might have mentioned this. I'm not Beast Wars, Beast Games. They don't transform. Is Beast Games. Beast Games, have you had a chance to check it out yet?
I haven't yet, no.
It is kind of an American attempt at the Squid Game. A little bit. It gives you that Squid Game vibe. The guy that's the host of Mr. Beast is probably the most annoying person in the world, but his annoyance works so good in this game. It is much more cerebral than you would think. And I dig it. And then I'll let you get to your favorite. I got a couple I want to ask you about, but I want to hear your favorites, my friend.
Okay. So TV shows, Creature Commandos, absolutely. From, dude, I want to say that you didn't warn me, but you warned me every week for weeks, for literally weeks. But man, I just hit season 3, episode 5.
Okay.
Oh, no, 4. I'm starting 5 tonight.
Okay.
From,
by the way, From will make you never want to sit on a bus again. And this is not a spoiler alert. I mean, but just to tell you and you get some very cool answers. But the biggest thing, we'll check back in after you see it, after you finish this season. Sarah, her character is much more of a badass than you'd ever see coming. So we'll revisit that. But check it out. Check it out, my friend. Yes, sir.
Yep. So From is going to be top of my list, but Creature Commandos, of course, dude, this is the best animated show besides, you know what? Creature Commandos and Vox Machina are at the same level.
They're really, yeah. And again, neither one of them. So if you have younger kids, you listen to say an animated Marvel or superhero show, DC show. These are both rated R. Absolutely, these are not for kids. Neither Vox nor Creature Commandos. Here's the idea: Creature Commandos is in the same vein as Suicide Squad. So if you're familiar with either Suicide Squad or in fact, Creature Command is a direct sequel to the Suicide Squad. So if you saw that and get the level of violence, this is that level of this. I mean, it's in the same universe as Peacemaker. So I'm hoping that maybe with Peacemaker season 2, which should be dropping soon, I hope we'll maybe get
March or April.
Maybe we'll get some overlap. Maybe we get I would love a live action Dr. Foster's. I don't know how the hell you do that with the level of CGI it would take, but I would love a live action Dr. Foster. And you got to give this, and I'll hush, God, this is your time, is I got to love a character that in order to destroy a tank got butt ass naked. I love that. I love, like, dude, wait, I'm gonna
what are those pants made out of though?
Yeah, dude, can you imagine him on like a Tinder date? Look. This makes Herogasm look tame. Like, you know. I
mean, it cauterizes.
Safe sex. Oh, trust me, it'll be safe. And
it'll be safe,
you won't get pregnant. You'll probably die.
Right.
But you won't
get pregnant. Yeah,
won't
we're
get
saying.
pregnant. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, my guy. What are some of your favorites?
Other than that, man, I got to talk a little bit Skeleton Crew, dude. Are you caught up on Skeleton
I
Crew?
think I'm one episode back, but
Okay,
loving Skeleton
you
Crew.
got to watch it, man.
Okay.
Skeleton Crew, especially after how bad the Acolyte is, this is exactly what Star Wars needed
Remember
to do.
those words by the end of the podcast. Remember that you did an Acolyte reference. Please continue. Yes, sir.
Yep, you betcha. Okay. And other than that game, I got some board games for Christmas, so I was kind of jamming on that. Got a game called Casting Shadows. It's kind of like a mix of like a 4-way battle for supremacy, along with a little bit of Catan, right?
Nice.
Got to get resources and then attack people. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to playing that some more. And then comics, there's Something Killing the Children, issue 0. I got it, read it, fantastic. Ended up getting volume 1. I'm gonna go through the entire. I'm gonna buy all the volumes because, man, like this is the fact there's not a TV show right now on MGM Plus because that's where it should go, or Amazon somewhere is a travesty. I think it's one of the worst.
You got to stream it. You can't do it on network. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. Movie. Now I've saw quite a few movies. I went and saw Sonic 3. I saw Mufasa. Which, did you know that the new Jon Stewart, Aaron Pierce, is the voice of Mufasa?
Did not.
And
does he do James Earl Jones justice? I mean, he's not James Earl Jones. You see what I'm saying? Does he do the character justice?
100%.
Okay.
And dude, I tell you what, like Mufasa was not the greatest movie, but there's a very, very beautiful right at the beginning tribute to James Earl Jones. So it just started me like, I mean, it started me with the ocular perspiration because of that. So like my expectations through the rest of the movie was good. I enjoyed the movie. The girls loved the movie. The music was way better than the movie, I think.
I've heard people say that the music in it, the songs are great. The songs are great.
Yeah. But Aaron Pierce, like knowing, I'm like, he is my backup James Earl Jones now. Like I could see him doing that, more of that. And I could also see him saying, maybe some Green Lantern stuff as well. But besides the point.
And again, given what he's done with Creature Commandos, and we know he's got connection with Alan Tudyk, which gives you connection to Nathan Fillion and all the things that all the fans take a clue from Deadpool and Wolverine. If you give the fans what they want, generally we're going to see it over and over and over again, because the fans have been fan casting the Green Lantern movie. No disrespect to Ryan Reynolds, but we've been fan casting that. That movie came out on Father's Day. I know if y'all went and saw it for Father's Day, and we were trying to figure out how to improve Green Lantern since that point. So yes,
exactly. But man, Nosferatu,
that's what I was waiting on.
Is such a good movie. There's one point after this I'll move on, but there's a point in the movie that I was super, super uncomfortable, which is the kind of the point of the movie. It is at the end is you see Lily Rose Depp naked. You see her, and you're like, wait a second here. Am I supposed to be looking at this?
Right.
Because your brain goes to like, this kid's got to be like 12, 14.
Sure.
And then I'm like, wait, and then like she's married and everything, but it's just like, okay, it was just awkward.
I just had to check it myself. She's 25. Okay, all right.
She's 25.
So that's what the Google device is telling me. She's 25.
Cool. But anyway, but Nosferatu is such a great movie. It made my list. It made my list.
Very
so
cool. Very cool.
And then before we move on, dude, you and I wouldn't say that we are the biggest Superman fans.
True. Give it to me. I think I know where you're going with this.
A little thing popped up. We were talking about DC. We did get our first look at Guy Gardner in the movie.
Yes.
What do you think of the Nathan Fillion Guy Gardner?
He would not have been who I would have led with.
Correct.
But I think he's going to do fine.
I think
he's going to be good. Again, we've talked about it, that again, from not only us, but lots of fans have said that because does he voice Hal in the animated stuff? Does Nathan voice that Nathan Fillion, the kind of roguish character he is? That also has been several years at this point.
Yeah.
And Nathan Fillion, and hey, he's in better shape than I am. Nathan Fillion's body during Firefly and a lot of those things, and just if you watch the Rookie, and again, the guy's still in great shape.
Yeah.
But I binge Castle. I love the show Castle. Looking at Nathan Fillion then versus Nathan Fillion now, you can make the leap to Guy Gardner versus Hal Jordan, who's a military pilot. He's in all the snug cockpits and all the things. But I think he'll do great with that, as well as again seeing some of the trailers, very small, of the new Superman movie coming out. I think it's July 11th. I remember right.
It is 2 weeks before Fantastic Four.
It gives me what Superman is supposed to be. And again,
right.
those of us that are, if you're new to the pod, Bradley and I are not the biggest Superman fans in the world. His favorite DC character is Nightwing. Mine is Batman. So you can imagine, or you can even say Green. Who is your favorite? Is it Nightwing or Green Arrow? If you have to make a choice.
It always goes back and forth. But okay. I mean, honestly, like I'm actually, I'm probably more Nightwing.
Okay.
Just love Green Arrow. Love Green. But yeah, I think probably more Nightwing right now. Nightwing and Batman. Yep. I'm all about the Bat family. The absolute world is just killing it for me. So
with that being said, within the world of DC, you pretty much team Batman/Batman family, or you basically capes or non-capes in the world of DC. If you get anything with the dynamic, so your favorite character tend to be on the pirate side. So think about Wonder Woman, Superman, Martian Manhunter, or the non-pirate side, which is the Bat family, Green Arrow, those group. So Superman is not our favorite character, but as Superman is best, and going all the way back to RIP, Christopher Reeve, what Superman at his best does is instill hope, right? That's what, by the way, I've said in the pod before, this not an S. The symbol on his shirt is Kryptonian for hope. That's what it's supposed to be, ideological. And a lot of the updated, because they were trying to copy Marvel, bringing the dark side of Superman does not work. It just doesn't for who the character is.
No.
So with the lighter music, the color scheme, all the things they're doing with the new one, I will definitely see it, and I have far more faith in this being something that will be palatable than I would have. No disrespect to Henry Cavill, you made lemons out of lemonade, man. You did the best you did what you had. So we're gonna see that one as well. Although my kid also dropped this the other day as we're talking a little bit about Marvel. We jumped to DC for 2 seconds. He keeps going. When do we get a live action Zatanna? I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm please. What about again? I've been catching on Lucifer. And I know she was in Agatha all along. The actress that played Death and she also
Aubrey Plaza.
Thank you. What about her as Zatanna?
Dude, I want Zendaya to be Zatanna.
Yeah.
I mean, I think she could do it. But I mean, like Aubrey Plaza would be a great one.
When I'm pulling things out from underneath the bed, it's usually Jessica Biel.
You know what? She would be a really good one too, though. She's
Megan Fox. I mean, we could just.
I mean,
but once you've been MJK'd, I should say. By the way, Bradley, that is a lonely road. All right.
It is
okay.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you win an episode.
All right. So before we I just want to get a couple thoughts for you. And I'll be brief for time. First off what were your thoughts on season 3 of What If? Final season, 8 episodes. I think the previous 2 seasons were 9 episodes a piece. We got one shorter episode. Overall, so twofold question. Your thoughts on the overall season, but then your thoughts on the 2-part series finale. So separate questions. The season overall, but then specifically the 2-parter that was a series finale.
So I haven't watched the last 2 episodes yet.
Okay, so you're good. So just the season then. At this point.
But I like it. I mean, like I liked that it was different than the other ones, but have been. And a lot of these what ifs were, and this is the same for all 3 seasons.
Yep.
A lot of the what ifs are the what ifs that none of us really cared about or were asking for.
Right.
What if should have been a season about giving a lot of fan service, to answer some of those what if questions, and it never really got there at all. I mean, when they gave us Marvel Zombies,
And they're
Kinda.
giving, and as a result of that, we're getting a Marvel Zombies. I mean,
Yeah.
season 1 was my favorite season. That's when I've gone back
Yeah.
and rewatched. Even then, it's in specific episodes like What If
Mhm.
Zombies, uh, Infinity Ultron was really good.
Yeah.
And I think this was a season 2 episode, but obviously the Stephen Strange, how they've handled Stephen Strange in all of the seasons. In the episode when we have with Hank Pym and Hope and that deal. For me, I'm not a big fan of this season, mostly because it got season 2 started doing this. Season 3, I think, it
Mhm.
really far. It made like I said, these are not the what else people were clamoring for, and they tried to introduce to me a little too much
Yeah.
comedy. They're very silly episodes.
Yeah.
Which I go, okay, this isn't Saturday morning cartoons. The people that are probably watching this are probably in their late teens or early 20s at the youngest for the most part, because you have to know
Mhm.
a lot of the canon material for the what if to even make sense,
Yeah.
right? So I did share without talking about the finale, 'cause I want you to watch it and we can talk about it.
Mhm.
I will say the Howard the Duck episode is probably my favorite.
Yeah.
And I will say, so you've gotten that far, have you
Yeah.
gotten? Okay,
I watched Howard, and you're right.
okay, yeah, and so keep that in mind because it has a lot to do with the finale. That's all I'm gonna say there.
Okay.
So there's that piece of it. But yeah, I mean that's the other big part of it is, and they did a lot with Agent Carter or Captain Carter, which she
They
became a what
always
if.
do.
And then there were definitely what I think they did the best was there was a real connection between with the multiverse, how they handled it with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and gave us some hints of that from some what if episodes again with how they handled Captain Carter. So that was kind of
Mhm.
cool that they brought it full circle into the to the films. They've not really done that. The Mecha episode was kind of cool, but I'm not a huge anime fan. But
Same.
I mean, it was a Gundam throwback, which again
Yeah.
wasn't bad. And for a one-off, had
Yeah.
that been the one-off, but some of the other stuff I got to I read the comics when they've gone back in time. So the 1602 is really good. The one that they did more updated. Other than this one, actually, from reading, actually does tie into the Wakanda series that's coming out. So we will
Mm.
see some things there. All right. So with that, and then my other question is, because we went and saw it together, can we do a quick debrief on Craven the Hunter?
Yes, let's debrief, because if you're gonna see a movie with Aaron Taylor Johnson over the holidays, you have two choices. You have Craven the Hunter, or you have Nosferatu. You should probably pick Nosferatu.
Nosferatu. I
Yeah,
will say though, I've never done as many sit-ups as that cat has done. I don't think I've done as many sit-ups in my life as that dude has probably done in 1 week.
probably.
Like
Yeah,
I will say, like, bro.
yeah,
So here's the quickest way for me to review it. If you take one of Spider-Man's it would be generous.
yeah.
If you take a B-level member, Spider-Man's rogue guy, and that's not an insult when you look at who Spider-Man's
Hmm.
top tier enemies are. Okay, Doc
Yeah.
Ock in that group. He's a B-level villain, possibly baby anti-hero, because you can play the environmental side of it.
Hmm.
If you turn him basically into a full-fledged, hero, basically if you took, we're both pro wrestling fans, if you made Randy Orton the dude that comes down and kisses babies and give fist bumps and hugs to everybody, that's not who Randy Orton is. We want to see Randy Orton kicking people in the head and dropping RKOs out of nowhere. We just want to cheer him doing it, right? We still want him to be Randy
Yeah.
freaking Orton, right? Whether Kevin Owen at his best of getting booed or cheered, he's still Kevin Owens, right? So that's what we want. Don't turn Randy Orton into Cody Rhodes. Don't turn Craven the Hunter into
Spider-Man.
yeah, you don't turn him into a nice guy. And
Yeah.
for all of his brokenness and all the brooding, which the guy had all the looks. I mean, he's in great shape, dark, the hair, the flow, the beard. Like, seriously, he's totally, I get why you go, like, this is somebody that will get a lot of female fans, or anyone will see a good-looking, brooding guy with his shirt off a lot. Didn't bother me at all. But they never found how they wanted Craven to be, right? And
Mhm.
so I noticed the end of the Sonyverse. no one is going to be mourning the end of that, and
Yeah.
we shall see. And again, if they move him over into the MCU, I think the casting for him was fine. They just need to give him a better story to work with. So
Okay.
similarly, we saw this with Trevor with by Sir Ben Kingsley. We all were booing that cast at the end of Iron Man 3. By the time we got to Shang-Chi and what we're gonna get in Wonder Man, you give us good writing, let the
Mm,
actors act. So, all right.
mm.
Any other thoughts you want to give on that one?
You know
Other than
what?
save your money, Simon Nosferatu, right?
Yeah, they try to make Craven into an actual superhero, and he's not. They forgot to take a core element of who the character is, and he was a hunter. I'm
And they
okay
never
with
defined his powers. I mean, they show
right,
him with the serum, but they never actually said what it did.
right.
And they never defined what his abilities are, other than he seemed to be able to smell stuff. Him smell and hear good, and
Yeah,
he was
and
kind of
can
fast.
half-ass wall crawl. But
Yep,
Brian, let's go ahead and put this on the lunch break point
we
system.
got you.
If you've watched any or watched or listened to any of my
Yes,
lunch break reviews, I have a lunch break point system where I have 5 categories for up to 5 points
yes,
each. We'll
yes.
try to go through this pretty quick. We're going to start with the main course of Craven the Hunter, overall quality of the movie. 3 points would be decent, but not exceptional, satisfying enough for the moment. 5 points would be a masterpiece, leaves you full and craving more.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think it's even at a 3. So one
Now,
would be unappetizing mess, struggles to even hold together. Or a 2 would be bland and uninspired, missing key ingredients.
I give it a 2 at that point. I
I
will
agree.
say Joseph Gordon-Levitt, not Joseph Gordon-Levitt, I'm so sorry. The gentleman who plays the Horde in Glass and those films, the Horde did a better job as Craven the Hunter
Yeah.
than this did. If you want to see Craven the Hunter, go watch Split and go watch Glass and the Horde. That is probably a better and more accurate representation of who Craven the Hunter should have been than
Mhm.
what we got in Craven the Hunter.
Okay, so 2, side
Yes,
dish.
sir.
This is the supporting elements for
Yes.
1 point. Sides are poorly executed or completely missing. 2 points. Barely adds anything to the plate, mostly forgettable. 3 points. Some solid moments, but inconsistent or overshadowed. 4 points would be complements the main dish well, solid support all around. And 5 points, outstanding sides that elevate the entire meal to another level. Where would you go with the supporting elements of Craven the Hunter?
I got to give it a 1. I mean, even with some of the casting, they had some good
I
casting
agree.
of actors, but they didn't bring anything because they weren't allowed to. So yeah, I give it a
Yeah.
1.
The most interesting part was Chameleon, and they didn't even really introduce him till the end.
No, yeah,
The,
and did it
the fact that
some
Chameleon wasn't behind
yes,
everything was such a missed opportunity,
yep,
and it
yep.
would have been the perfect twist.
And similar to Madam Web, okay, then she's blind and has precognitive, like increased precognitive, and
Yeah.
she's blind in a wheelchair, has better graphic precognitive, but there was so much time spent on not that it didn't matter. Same thing with Chameleon, we have to get to see him with Chameleon face and all the things, but it was a throwaway at that point. I can see people
Yeah.
honestly out of the movie, literally while being done with the movie before they even got to that. Yep.
Yeah. All right, so 3, spice level, creativity and boldness. 1 point, bland and unoriginal, no risks taken.
Mm-hmm.
2, mildly interesting, but nothing stands out. 3, brings a little heat with some creative flair, bold and unique with impressive execution. That'd be 4. And 5, red hot creativity, a daring and unforgettable experience.
I'm gonna give it a 1.5 for what they tried to do to Rhino, which they did not do well, but they at least tried to
Yeah.
give us something with Rhino. So, and again, you don't make Rhino Bane, which is what they did. They tried to make Rhino into Bane. It wasn't successful, but I see what you were trying
Yeah.
to. So I give it 1.5.
I also agree. So we're going to go with 1 for that. And leftover appeal. This is the rewatch replay value. Don't even know if I need to go over this, but I'm going to go.
No,
And you know
go
what?
for it, brother.
All right. You know, 1 is no interest in revisiting.
And
Once
we're
was more
there.
than enough.
We're there. We're
We are in
there.
agreement.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yeah. If it was on, it will eventually be on streaming services, I'm
Yeah.
sure. If it's on, I don't even know if I would even have it on in the background just to say it's on. Again, it was one of those movies, just to be clear, folks, it wasn't offensive. It was once the movie was over, and by the way, thank you for taking me to see it, brother. But it was one of them that once it was done, it's like, all right, because I think we went on a Sunday afternoon. All right, I killed a couple hours. I don't have any. I wasn't like, oh my God, they robbed me of my time and my money. I have no desire to see it again.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you didn't have to pay for it because, like, I would have felt bad if you had to pay to see that.
That probably changed. That's probably changed. That's the reason why I probably got the one versus a negative. Is I got my buddy to treat me for it. Yes, sir. So thank you for that.
Yes, dessert. Now this is the emotional satisfaction. 1, a bitter aftertaste leaves you unsatisfied. 2, slightly sweet but not memorable. Okay, I don't think we need to go any further than 2. I'm a 1.
I'm a 1 as well. Again, just one of those things that here the best thing I say about Kraven the Hunter was they made a movie. They made a movie.
A movie that nobody asked for.
Yep, that no one. He should have always been a side character. I mean, the best of the Spider-Man movies, meaning the Tobey Maguire movies, they always had the primary villain and then someone that was kind of there. Yeah. And Kraven would be the villain's hench person, right? Kraven's hired by the Green Goblin. That's that character's position there.
Yeah. The fact that the movie didn't take place in Africa, they should have been in Russia for like 10 minutes.
Yes.
And the rest of the movie should have been in Africa where they're
the best part of the movie was the start. I mean, the beginning in the prison was pretty good. And then it should have gone, like you said, it should have been a Wakanda, it should have been Africa minimally, should have been a Wakanda, or at least if it began between Sony and MC and Marvel,
mentioned.
Maybe go but maybe I'm telling you don't mention Spider-Man, but maybe you at least you could do a ha he that maybe he runs into literally a panther in the wild.
Yeah.
And he respects it. Like, we don't hunt those. Like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, right? Like, that would have been enough. And that would have got, as a fan, we were like, oh, I see what you did there, Kraven. You're killing it, boy. But no.
Agree. All right. Well, there we go. Now, Kraven the Hunter is now on the lunch break point system. I agree. So we got 2 points for the main course and 1 for everything else. A total of 6 out of 25. And I think that is fair.
I think that is fair and damn near generous, man.
All right, man. It's time to get into our topic of the day. Let's talk about our best movies of 2024.
All right, my friend.
All right, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
I went first in my favorite. Why don't you go first with your list if you don't mind?
Okay, yep. So I got a list of 15, so I got 5 honorable mentions. So I did go through and I watched 47 movies in the theater this last year.
Okay.
Yes. So at 15
By the way,
through 10.
before you get you started, I'm curious if our number one's going to be the same. The rest of the list, okay, we'll see. But I'm really curious if our number one's going to be the same. But go for it.
I'm going to guess. You know what? Before we start, because I want you to keep track of this. Okay. I'm going to say we have 5 the same.
All right. I do keep. So for fans, just to bring us up. So Bradley and I, other than saying that what we're going to do our list on, we do not compare our list beforehand. We don't even set up how many we're going to do. So just to let fans know, Brad did 15. I actually did 10. But what we do is we try and keep track of what if we have any that are on the same list. We typically have a few, but then instantly we have any in the same place. I will be keeping track of that, my friend. So start off with your honorable mention. Let's knock it out, bro.
Honorable mention number 1 is Alien Romulus.
Okay.
I like the Aliens movies. I thought this was better than it was supposed to be. I enjoyed it. I've watched it, I think, twice. And just for that, I thought it was good enough to be in there. It was a good add-on to what Aliens is. And I want to see more now.
Gotcha.
Number 14, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. This movie was fun. It didn't get a lot of marks when it came out.
Fair.
But I really enjoyed this. Henry Cavill was so good in this movie.
Fair.
I mean, you wanted him as James Bond. Well, guess what? He's the character that inspired James Bond.
Yes.
So you know what? There we go.
Yes.
I loved it. I can't stream it. If I could, I would, but I'm sure I'll watch it again.
It was close. It did not make my list. I have you like if I did 10. If I had done an 11, it would probably been number 11.
Nice. Number 13 was a movie. This is my only straight to streaming movie that I put on my list.
Okay.
And this movie made my list because it came out of left field. I knew nothing about it. And when you run into those type of movies, dude,
Of
you just got to
course.
hold on to it.
Of course.
Rebel Ridge. Rebel Ridge, man. Like I had never, I mean, like I've seen Aaron Pierce and stuff, but dude, he was so good in this movie. I think we talked about that
We
that
did.
movie like probably 2 or 3 episodes.
We did.
Such an amazing movie. Rebel Ridge, amazing. Enough said. Number 12, Godzilla X Kong: The New Empire. Man,
Very good.
you know exactly
It's a
what you're
Godzilla
getting.
movie, but yeah.
Yeah, you know what you're getting when you go into it. Which, speaking of Godzilla, did you know that Venom goes into Godzilla in the comics now?
I have heard that. Yes.
I'm gonna go buy the comic because I want that cover. So bad.
You know what they say about that with Venom? Once you go black,
Don't go back.
You know what? That's why Mary Jane preferred when he wore the Venom symbiote. Like, hey, wait.
No.
Yeah, can you go get this? Do you know what Eddie Brock is at right now? Like right now. Like
stop dancing.
That's
none of that
probably the
stupid
only
dance.
time Topher Grace was considered a sex symbol. Like, can we do this? Can we?
Right.
Can we? Talk about a cat. I was really sad when the show got canceled. Wait. So I got to go back instead of making her the hot redhead. I got to go back to being Topher Grace. Yes.
Aw. Yeah. I always ask him for the when are we going to do that 80s show?
Right. By the way, if you didn't, you probably have, but I think we might touch on the pod real quickly. But the sequel to that came out that
the 90s show
is actually and the one they have on Netflix now, which is I think it's is it that 90s show?
I think it is
really good, really good, really
yeah.
good. Yes.
I think there's 2 seasons of it, but I think it was canceled.
Yeah, I think so as well. But season 1's I caught it. Season 1's better than season 2.
Yeah, season 2
really
was
good.
it was just
but I mean, how much can you do without Mila Kunis?
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
That's who we need.
Zatanna. That's who should be Zatanna.
Thank you. We just got there together, bro.
Boom.
Tag team partners. That's tag team partners right there. Yeah. And if you got to bring Ashton along with, okay, real quick. So if we got to sweeten the deal by putting Ashton in the DCEU, who's Ashton? Who you got to put in?
Okay,
Ashton
we got to put Ashton in the DCEU. Mr. Dr. Fate.
Really? Because I really want Pierce Brosnan. I just want him to somehow come back.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm for that, but I wanted to put him in a spot that would be contra-inducive to Mila Kunis as
and you want to have in a magical place.
Zatara, make him her dad.
Okay. Again, I do mention my son because he gave me some flowers about this. I'm gonna say he didn't ask for this. I'm gonna say because one of Brent's favorite characters is Etrigan the Demon. Can we get Ashton Kutcher as Jason Blood?
Yes.
To give us Etrigan
yes, we can.
Okay, there we got. So we have cast Mila Kunis as Zatanna, and we're casting Ashton Kutcher as Jason Blood / Etrigan the Demon. So that means you have to speak in nothing but rhyme, Ashton. But wouldn't it be great? The guy from Punk'd being a outcast demon. Wouldn't that be great? Okay.
I mean, I'm for that. I'm like, honestly, I think he would do a really good job as Etrigan the Demon.
Butterfly Effect. He can do like dark stuff. He really can.
And dude, Etrigan the Demon is like the fact that there should be an ongoing comic with Etrigan the Demon.
Yes.
I mean, because there's so much that you can do with that character.
Yes. And of course, it leads into all the stuff with Constantine. And before we get too far off track, I agree with you. And I would say that's one of the things that actually I feel DC does superior. We tend to drift, especially with the movies and show, we tend to drift more Marvel than DC.
Yeah.
Comics, I think DC still wins over Marvel more often than not. They've been doing it longer as well. We give them their flowers for that. But I would say one of the things that I just lost my train of thought I was going with that. But one of the things that regarding I don't remember why my coming to me later, but I definitely think we should just have Ashton as Etrigan the Demon. You're right, the ongoing they do magic in DC much better than Marvel does. We look at Dr. Fate, look at Zatanna. Honestly, look even at Hawkman and Hawkwoman with the reincarnation and the nth metal. It's the only thing other than Kryptonite that Superman is vulnerable to.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is a magical character. The original Green Lantern is a magical character.
Yep.
So they have magic throughout DC, and they do it much better. I mean, you go to Marvel, it's Thor, which again
Mhm.
is fine, but
Yeah,
it's definitely, I think, Marvel, and okay, and for another reason than this, the Spectre.
man, the Spectre would be an amazing TV show,
Could you imagine though if
or
you are
even animated.
yes?
In
Could you
like
could you yeah.
James
So
Gunn
yes.
Spectre animated show.
So we've
Now,
talked about
please.
this in the pod before as how they use Samuel Jackson in the first phase of Marvel.
Mhm.
They use really Samuel Jackson to be the unifying thread throughout the movies. The Spectre, almost how they do use Uatu the Watcher in What If, using the Spectre almost as a narrator. That's what we talk about it maybe in Giancarlo Esposito, is using the Spectre as a narrator who observes things and maybe introduces it because he's God's spirit of vengeance, right?
Yeah.
So he literally can do anything. So you want to pull back how much you have him in there. That's kind of our beef with Superman. Like, well,
Mhm.
he got to do anything. Like, there's no fun there.
Yeah.
Um, uh, if you had him as that person, as a narrator that maybe pulls together different characters, and again, Giancarlo Esposito, because I think it would have to be a CGI character, but just that voice and that presence that he had. Now, obviously, he's under contract with Marvel as what's his face?
Sidewinder.
Thank you, a Sidewinder. Which I wasn't super thrilled. I mean, I think he deserves a better character, but
He
that's neither
does.
here nor there. I would personally though, and we gotta see how it comes across.
Mhm.
And I'm more of a Red Hulk fan than you are, so I'm actually kind of
Mhm.
excited to see it. But yeah, I think Marvel does magic better. So I'm excuse me, DC does magic better. So it'd be very cool to see them kind of go down that pathway. But yeah, so we've already casted James Gunn, if you're listening. Mila Kunis, Ashton Kutcher. We gave you your Zatanna. We
Mhm.
gave you your Jason Blood slash Edrigan. Go. That's all we asked. Just go.
Now we
Make it.
just need
Just
Boston
go.
Brand's Dead Man. We need the Spectre. I mean, like, who else? We need Our Man. Okay. So, quick tangent. Do you think we're gonna have the JSA or the JLA in the Superman Legacy movie?
I think we'll see the beginning of the JLA.
Okay.
I would love a JSA because here's the deal. I think having the Justice League as supporting character, whether either Batman or Superman, is having them introduce part of that. I
Mhm.
would because you've got so many big characters, which
Yeah.
give all the credit to the group, especially Joss Whedon for the first two Avengers movies,
Mhm.
of having these big actors. But remember, with the Avengers movies, up until they really became a thing, it was really Robert Downey Jr. and Samuel Jackson and a bunch of people we really didn't know very well.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson we knew. Okay. When you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, that's a thing versus JSA is by itself meant to be more of a team. So I think
Mhm.
you go do a team movie. We already got a bit of that with Black Adam. So I would love to see and keep the cast in the damn same. Give us
Yeah.
give
Ellis
us that.
Hodge and Pierce
Yes,
Brosnan.
yes.
Jeez.
Yes,
Yeah.
give us those people back for those things. I mean, even if you gotta, kind of give us a ridiculous reason to keep Pierce as him, that would still be great. And then
Mhm.
remember, and I shared this when the Sandman was on. Remember that the baby that's at near the tail end of the Sandman eventually becomes Dr. Fate. So just I mean, there maybe we draw a little that character is a technical member of the DCU. So maybe
Mhm.
we'll get some Sandman or at least again give us a Spectre. All right. I
Yeah.
totally interrupted your list, my brother. Where are we
Nah,
at?
good. So we're up to number 11. My last
Okay.
honorable mention
Yes, sir.
is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
Good flick.
Man, I
Good
loved it,
flick.
but it
Good
just
flick.
there was other things that
Yep.
made the list that just kind of kept pushing it back
I
and back
feel
and
you.
back and back.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
It I enjoyed it. I've
Yes.
watched it since.
It is everything Ghostbusters was meant to be, which is
Yeah.
fun. A movie you can watch with your family, eat some
Yeah.
popcorn, get a few scares, but honestly just have a good time.
Yep.
And this was, and I personally like Homecoming a little bit better
Same.
than Frozen Empire. However, it gave us three of the four guys back, and it gave us the
Mhm.
three that we could get back, right? And unfortunately, time is undefeated, so we couldn't get Egon, but they gave us with Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and why am I forgetting his name?
Winston
Zedmore.
Zedmore.
Yeah,
Yep.
Winston Zedmore. Ernie Hudson.
Mm.
They gave us that Harold Ramis RIP, but they gave us everything. They gave us what they could, and they gave us what they could in meaningful ways. So I appreciate that. Absolutely.
Now my top 10. Number 10, Beetlejuice. Yeah. Beetlejuice, man. Like, it was good. It was so good. It's fun. It's everything you want in a popcorn movie and more. Michael Keaton killed it. Jenna Ortega killed it. The entire cast killed it. The way that they treated the dad, I'm not gonna say his name,
Yes.
killed it.
And if you don't know why we're really talking about they handled it as well as you could, all you gotta do is Google the guy that played the dad, and then Google his current life and legal situation.
Yeah.
You get why he was not in the movie. He probably still got a bit of royalty. They did use his image in a couple scenes, and they get in all that. So I guess he still made a little bit of money, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they handled something that could be really sticky, really, really well, and
Yep.
kind of funny. Funny because they make sure he got his head got bitten off, so you couldn't even see it. That was beautiful. Nice job, Tim Burton.
And number 9 is a movie that you and I saw together, and we were both from the first few minutes. We were like, "Oh my god, this is fucking phenomenal!"
I know where you're going with it.
Beekeeper.
Yes.
Sometimes you just need Jason Statham avenging Ma Huxtable in brutal fashion.
Yes.
And it was everything that it should have been. They're already making a sequel to it.
Yep.
Man, like, it was just it's such a good, fun movie.
Absolutely.
Loved it. And I knew it was gonna be that came out in February, and I knew that was gonna be in my top 10 for the year.
Absolutely.
Number 8. Don't get it twisted, man.
By the way, Beekeeper is what John Wick 4 should have been. Beekeeper.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, next up, bro.
Don't get it twisted, man. Twisters was great. It was fantastic. Glenn Powell, man. You're fan casted in pretty much everything now.
Yep.
So I mean, like, welcome to Star Wars, the DCU, the MCU. Welcome to everything. You can do it all.
Yes.
And we're here for it. Yeah.
We really dug just your yin. Like you said, we pretty much put him in anything and everything that we could think of. Every since seeing him in Top Gun Maverick, I know we've casted him. I think primarily as Booster Gold. He gives all the Booster Gold vibes. I actually looked him up the other time that he actually is in both Spy Kids 3D, and you'll love this. He is in a very small role. His character doesn't even have a name. He actually is in Dark Knight Rises.
That is wonderful.
He is one of the stock market people. He does again. I think he's Trader 1. I think I looked him up, but he is just in there, and he's really good. And I'm really excited too because Anthony Ramos, who Bradley, we know him from the Transformers. Yes, being that character, and he's going to play. And this is, I'll never share this on the pod before. One of my favorite underrated villains is the Hood. And so I
didn't know this.
Yes, I love the Hood character. I love the power, the actual cloak, the boots, the backstory. I love the Hood character, and he actually is going to play the Hood in the upcoming MCU. So I'm very excited.
What is he going to play it in?
Oh shoot, let me look him up real quick.
Is it Wonder Man?
It is not Wonder Man. Let me see what he is playing. Ironheart. Yep, he's playing him in the Ironheart. Yep,
okay.
Yep. Which is again the overlap between, or the crossover between the What If episode, because they're introducing a new Iron Fist as part of Ironheart, and the character in Iron Fist is going to be an updated version of the character we saw in What If. So to be that character, but instead of being in 1602 modern times and be an adult, not a kid, but it'll have that same name. So yeah, so I love him he was great in Twisters. I loved him in Transformers Beast Wars. such an underrated movie. I mean, I think that honestly may be when I get to my list. Here I got a Transformers. Maybe you do too. That one is probably one of my top 2 or 3 Transformer movies. It was fantastic. All right, I'll let you keep going, my friend.
Well, what a perfect segue, because my number 7
Did I nail it? Did I nail it?
Transformers 1.
My guy.
This had so much fan service. Another movie I think you and I watched together as well.
It is, and it gave us, okay, so I grew up being I used to say that Optimus Prime, like if I ever was to name my child, which I wouldn't actually do, if I thought like, hey, I was gonna name my kid Optimus Prime, I actually was thinking that we knew a lot of the backstory of Optimus Prime as Orion Pax. I went to this wanting the backstory of specifically Megatron.
Yeah.
Not only did they give us the backstory of Megatron, they gave us the reason why Starscream's voice is the way it is, and they gave us the birth of the Decepticons. It was cool knowing about Optimus and Bumblebee and the Transformers or what Autobots, but they gave what Acolyte didn't do. But what this did do, it gave us the history of the Decepticons, and I always found the Decepticons a little more interesting than I like Optimus Prime and Beetlejuice. Optimus Prime, Bumblebee. I was a huge fan of Jazz because I was like, that's a black Transformer, like Jazz and Blaster. What a black Transformers, right? So those are like my guys. But generally overall, though, my favorite Transformers were the Decepticons. So I love the treatment the Decepticons gave us, and I see our cameos here.
We got some cameos. You want to say hi, girls?
Hi.
Hello, girls.
So,
how was your? You want to tell Brian about Christmas? How was your guys' girls' Christmas?
Daddy, first, I want to tell you something.
Okay.
So, me and Grandma made biscuits.
Thank you.
Yeah, we have a little piece for you. Try it.
Okay.
ASMR.
Okay.
Do you like it?
Yes.
How much? Rate it on a scale of 1 to 10.
The greatest biscuit in the history of biscuits.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna tell you about Christmas now.
It was great.
I
should take this off.
Okay.
That was her little apron. So I got some necklaces, and I also got a lot of art kits, and I got a lot of clay beads, and I got a portable charger, wireless charger, as mommy would say. It was really fun, and I loved it. This is my new hat.
All right, Anna, your turn.
I just love Christmas. I don't know.
Okay.
Fair.
All right, extra cameras. All right, tell Brian bye.
Bye.
Bye, princess.
Ooh,
So
we have like 24 biscuits.
Okay.
Because we had 12, and then we.
Oh, okay.
So
Love you.
So you can share this with Leia after we get done with the pod. When she had the little hat thing that she just dropped on your head, the little kind of the evil menacing grimace she was giving, total Rhea Ripley vibes. So she channeled Rhea Ripley. So let her know.
I will definitely let her know, because Rhea Ripley.
Oh my God. So by the way, if you don't follow his podcast, I don't know if you do. So Chris Van Velt, who does a lot of really cool interviews, his interview with Dominic Mysterio is so. I mean, he does really good. He does one. He does one with DDP that's really good. He does one recently with Ivar from the War Raiders. But I got to say, his favorite one is so far, because the next one coming, I think is going to be my favorite, but he's not dropped it yet. Of the ones he's dropped so far, and they're always at least an hour, is with Dominic Mysterio. And Dom spends most of the time in full-on Dominic Mysterio character, but there's a few times he breaks it to talk as truthfully Dominic. And it's usually when he talks about his wife, and he just can't, and he does this. They bring up Rhea Ripley. I'm like, dude, you got to have the best job ever. Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, and your wife is smoking hot. He kind of goes, yeah, I've been with the wife since 14, so I gotta basically there's run with how does your wife handle when there's really things where Liv Morgan is literally straddling you? He goes, I've been with her since 14, and she knows those things pay the bills. But I better believe that if there's something that she sees where Liv is like on top of me, by the time I get backstage, my phone is ringing. Like, okay, you're done, right? you're back with Finn, right? Like you're done, right? So, but here's if you don't follow him for his next one.
Yeah.
Is with your boy R-Truth.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely. I usually watch
here's
it.
The best part, he does it at Truth's house.
Oh God.
And Truth offers it because he gives like little pieces of it.
Yeah.
As they're setting up, R-Truth goes, "You want some potato salad?" Like that is actually how Truth goes. Like, dude, he does a lot of them at people's houses. So he does like DDPs at his house. He has a studio too. But he does pages at Paige's house. A lot of them he does at their house if he can do it. But the one with Truth, it was just great. No, R-Truth was trying to help him get comfortable. Told R-Truth, like, dude, I got potato salad. You want some potato salad? That I like it. People are like, when he drops them on YouTube, when are you dropping the R-Truth episode? So keep that in mind. If I see it, I subscribe to his feed. I'll let you know. But Chris Van Vleut, I'll send you his stuff. His stuff is usually on Facebook as well, just to get you to go to the pod. But definitely, I cannot wait for the interview with R-Truth. So
awesome. All right, so 7. We're going on number 6 for me. And this one, excuse me. This one is a little bit different. This one was another one of those that came out of left field. It was way better than Any Right to Be. It starred Nicolas Cage.
Okay.
And it's called Long Legs.
Did not see that. Give me the breakdown of Long Legs.
So Long Legs is a horror movie with a little bit of supernatural tie-ins, but the gist of it is,
I thought it was gonna be a Sharon Stone story, but it's not. Okay.
No, it's not.
Remember that one though? Like, yeah. I remember no dialogue from Basic Instinct. I've seen about
and you're just like
million times.
Trying to peek.
For fans that are younger don't know this, I watched Basic Instinct or a specific scene that Basic Instinct so much that the ribbon in the VCR tape broke.
That was one of the most possible things.
Oh my God. It had Newman in it. Like, yes, abso-freaking-lutely. I don't care if she's a murderer. I want to interview her. So you would tell, and this again is things you don't have when your audio and video is in digital format. People could know your favorite album, your favorite movies by either the ribbon decaying and the VCR, or maybe you get some scratches on the DVD, and on the music format, the ribbon on a cassette tape, the scratches on an album, or again the scratches on the CD. Like absolutely, I remember dubbing a tape. I remember dubbing take. I knew I was going to listen to them so much I was going to break them down that you would keep your good copy, and then you dub it that you all the copyright infringement we did back in the day. We were rebels. You would give it to your friends. I remember going in and putting on, like, everybody put in on the album and then dubbing and giving copies to everyone. I had a little cottage industry of radio of the Fugees' first album, literally dubbing dozens. So Lauryn Hill, Proswell, and Pros is in jail, I think. But Lauryn Hill, Proswell, and Wyclef. I probably did keep y'all from making a few grand. I'm sorry, but again, ready or not.
It was the 80s.
Here I come.
90s.
You can't hide.
That's right.
Gonna find you. All right, keep it going, sir. All right.
Well done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Long Legs, check it out. Great movie. Nicolas Cage is unrecognizable in it.
Which might be a good thing.
Yeah. Although I'm super stoked to see him as Spider-Man Noir.
Okay.
Yeah. Top 5 here. A Quiet Place Day One. Man, this movie, there is one scene in this movie that'll probably be with me forever.
Bro.
Lupita Nyong'o in the fountain comforting those kids. It was a throwaway scene, but I don't know. There's just something about that scene that has not been able to let me go since I watched the movie. And every time, man, that movie is so good. So amazingly good.
That is such a underrated series. So give John Krasinski all, and he knew, and by the way, this is a sign of someone that understands what's important. He kills himself off in the first one and has continued to I think we're at 3 now of that series. And hey, and make sure his wife is still the star with. By the way, dude, good job. Because I mean, just Yeah, it's almost like if the devil was to wear Prada. By the way, when your wife has done love scenes with Matt Damon, I feel like no, we're gonna do movies with me now. We're gonna just do movies with me now. But a very undersung movie is The Adjustment Bureau, one of my favorite movies. We really need to plan in 2025 is our favorite underrated movies because Adjustment Bureau is so an early Anthony Mackie movie. Anyway, but yes, Quiet Place is fantastic. So Quiet Place Day One is fantastic. I kind of was hoping at some point she'd do like this, but that's just me. But all right, sir. All right, my friend, keep going.
All right, number 4 is the one that from this last week, Nosferatu. Man, that thing. This movie had the greatest cinematography in any movie I've ever seen in my life.
It would have costumes. Is the entire movie in black and white?
No.
Oh, okay.
It is not, and it switches from black and white to color seamlessly. Okay. Like you don't even know what's happening.
Kind of like Van Helsing did that. So Van Helsing starts off in black and white and then goes to color. So which was I think is what you want those old school horror movie. By the way, again, we got underrated shows. Every time someone mentions Nosferatu, my head goes back to Kindred the Embraced, which is probably the best serious, and no shade to Buffy nor Angel, but probably the best completely dark vampire series. So Kindred the Embrace, and if you're not familiar with it, under Kindred the Embrace, they're different. It basically places vampires in the world of organized crime. So think about mafia families.
Okay.
And each kind of race of vampires is a mafia family. So like the original, so most of the vampires are what we think about vampires now. They're attractive. They at least look human until they don't type deal. And that's most of them. But then the most old school vampires who are the strongest vampires, who are like the original mafia family, they are called the Nosferatu.
Very cool.
So check out, if you get a chance, I think it's streaming places, or at least read up on it. But it's called Kindred the Embrace. Only ran for one season. It's a shame, but definitely a fantastic show. Kindred the Embrace.
How old is it?
Late 90s. Late 90s would be my guesstimate.
Okay, cool. I'm going to save it. Awesome. All right. And then number 3, man, this movie was one of those, I wasn't even planning on going to watch it.
Okay.
And then it just touched me. This is the highest rate. This is an animated movie.
Okay.
And that is The Wild Robot.
You mentioned that before, that it was really good. It was really
yes.
Better than Inside Out 2. Did you see Inside Out 2?
I did see Inside Out 2, and Inside Out 2 probably should have made my honorable mentions. I probably should have put that in 15 instead of Alien Romulus, now that I'm thinking about it. But when I was thinking about animated movies and I was going through the list, The Wild Robot to me meant so much more than Inside Out 2. Man, like again, Lupita Nyong'o is the main voice in the movie, and I didn't even really think about that until just now. But man, this movie, you will have multiple sessions of ocular perspiration.
All right.
Yes. Have you seen The Wild Robot yet?
I have not, but now I want to see it with what you just said.
So good. So good. Number 2. Now this was from the beginning of the year as well.
Okay.
Dune Part 2. Arguably the greatest sequel that has ever been made. I am going to rate Dune Part 2 right up there with Empire Strikes Back. Man, I think I liked Dune Part 2 better than Dune Part 1.
Same.
And
has Zendaya yet. Got to give her that.
Yeah, absolutely. I haven't watched Dune Prophecy yet.
Okay.
But I'm gonna once I'm done I'm gonna start on Dune Prophecy.
Again, I think I said this for Dune Prophecy. It is more not that Dune and Dune Part 2 didn't talk about the political side of that world, but definitely Dune Prophecy is far more Game of Thrones as far as that feel of it. Good talks about how power is acquired and maintained. but it's very well, very, very, very well done. My only concern with Dune Prophecy is similar to Game of Thrones. It looks, so I'm sure it is, hella expensive. So I'm curious. That became a thing with Game of Thrones, that why some of those productions would take so long, because they're just the shooting and the just all the production value is hella expensive. Even when you have the money, you just can't make those movies quickly.
Yeah.
Not movie, but shows quick, those episodes quickly. So it is very much that. I don't know if Dune Prophecy will have longevity due to just those logistical pieces of it. But season 1 is really good. Mark Strong is incredible in it. But definitely Dune. I agree with you. Dune 2, which we actually saw together as well.
Yeah.
I like Dune, but I agree with you. Dune 2, I thought was superior.
Awesome. That leads me to number 1.
All right, sir. Let's find out.
The number 1 took me about 0.0 seconds to.
It's Craven, isn't it? It's Craven, isn't it?
Yeah, it was Craven. Craven, the mix of Craven and Madam Web together.
Yes.
Has to do with a little bit of the TVA as well.
And a little TNA if you're really into Ryan Reynolds, I think.
So, that is correct. Yes, Deadpool and Wolverine. Which, speaking of, so there is a comic, a TVA comic that just came out, I think, like 2 weeks ago. Dude, it's fantastic. The main characters is Captain Carter and Spider-Gwen.
Nice.
But it takes place, I can't figure out if it takes place in the MCU or if it takes place right after season 2 of Loki, because they make comments about both.
Gotcha.
So anyway, enough of that. Deadpool and Wolverine, dude. Enough. It's Deadpool and Wolverine, man. Bye.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. That movie is, as for being an R, and by the way, it should have been R-rated. For being an R-rated movie, I mean, a lot of what we talk about as our favorite and perfect movies have been like Princess Bride and Spaceballs. And the reason that those movies are up there as what we consider quote unquote perfect movies, never in the story, things you can watch with your kids and pass on generation to generation. Similar to that we said with Creature Commandos and Vox Machina, The Boys, a lot of our favorite shows, you got to be at least like 13, 14, 15 years of age to watch it. Deadpool and Wolverine definitely falls into that.
Yep.
But this movie shows exactly why MCU is beating the Sonyverse and is beating DC, because they gave the fans what they wanted within reason, right? You can't have to be completely fan cast, because then you might lose some profitability, right? But it gave us all the little things, and that's all I'm gonna say about it until later on the show with possibly my honest ad. So
good.
I do want to share this before I drop into my list. Again, I've got 10. So with us having 10, I count honorable mentions as well. I think this is a new record. We have 6 of your 15, so almost half. 6 of your 15 are on my top 10. So let that sink in.
All right.
Including a record 4 in the same position.
Nice.
So, my friend, if you're ready here, and I'll be brief because you said something that I'd agree with. So let's start it off. So, in number 10, Beetlejuice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic movie, fantastic sequel. We talked before about how sometimes we get nervous when you make a sequel because it doesn't hold up to the original. And sometimes when you make a trilogy, it doesn't hold up. Tim Burton took 20 plus years to give us Beetlejuice, and it was time well spent. The way they handled all the things around it, how to handle Jenna Ortega. One of my very first crushes in a movie was Lydia Dietz. And so I had all the old school feels like, oh, Winona Ryder. I still think she was still from me, but that's okay. Got to give, by the way, if anyone that's still holding on to Winona Ryder, she did a really good, I just happened to stumble across when I was researching Beetlejuice when the movie came out. She gave a really in-depth interview of what led up to that shoplifting thing that it totally reframes it. Like she legitimately was heavily over medicated by a physician that has since lost their license for the way they were handling medication. So good on for her. Okay, number 9 is Alien Romulus. The only way to make Alien Romulus better is if there'd have been a dancing Pepsi can, because that's just me. Because again, everything goes back to Spaceballs. Number 8, Quiet Place Day One. So good, so good. Quiet Place. I would love to almost do a side by side watch of Quiet Place and Bird Box. They have so many of the similar things, but to take again, a very sometimes doing simple is hard.
Yeah.
And the fact that you create a world in which noise gets you killed. And it's not until you remove noise and realize how uncomfortable silence makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
That by itself, like we live in a world where, again, you can have people beheaded and blown up and all the things. Just watch Creature Commandos, which by itself has its appeal. But the old school of I'm walking through a hallway where there's no noise, and I know if the baby cries, if I step on a nail, if the box falls, if the phone rings, that's it. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Number 7, I know we have in the same spot, Transformers 1. Again, like I said before, the fact it gave me the backstory of the Decepticons. Not only what I wanted was Megatron, you gave me Megatron and all the Decepticons. Thank you so much. I love the way they talk about the matrices. Number 6, I had Beekeeper. I think you had Beekeeper at number 7, so we're a little different there. Number 5, the first. By the way, let me set the stage for you, Brad. I have 10 movies. The first movie that I have that we don't have in common is my number 5 pick. I've gone through half my list, and we've had the same movies. The first movie I have that is different because it was better. Same thing you said with some other movies. It was better than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I got to give it up to Red One. The Rock, J.K. Simmons, Lucy Liu, all the things. Chris Pratt, they very, very well done. It was a Christmas movie. We didn't do a Christmas episode this year. Generally, Brad and I would like Christmas movies that have Christmas in it, but are not Christmas focused because it just doesn't usually deal with. Again, by the way, the greatest Christmas movie ever made is Die Hard. Fight me. It is. I don't care what Bruce Willis says. It's still the best. He says it's a Bruce Willis movie. Duh. Every movie he's in is a Bruce Willis movie. It's a damn Christmas movie. So with that being
every
said,
action movie since Die Hard is a Bruce Willis movie. What are you talking about?
Just like every action movie now is a movie that features The Rock or Kevin Hart.
Exactly.
But Red One was done so well. It could have been cheesy, and it was done really, really well. 6888 is my number 4. I mentioned it before. It's fantastic.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
A movie I'm surprised. Actually, 2 movies I'm surprised, but only one that made my list. 2 movies I'm surprised did not make either your honorable mention or your top 10. Was not on my list. Gladiator, I haven't seen it yet. It's Gladiator 2, but Wicked is my number 3. Wicked
would have been 16. Wicked was close. Wicked and Moana 2 were pretty close.
Love me some Wicked.
Sonic 3 was really good too.
Ask my family. I play the soundtrack like nonstop because Bradley, you are popular. Okay. All right, number 2.
And Defying Gravity.
Yes, dude. Number 2, and Ariana Grande running around with heels on for almost 3 hours. Not a bad idea. All right, so number 2 and number 1, we have the same. Number 2, Dune Part 2. Can't add anything into it. By the way, for no other reason than check this out with Dune Prophecy, it gives us the origin of the voice. So if you think the voice is kind of a cool thing to see, it gives us the origin of the voice at the beginning of Dune Prophecy. And then number 1, of course, I told you before, I was curious. I had no real doubts.
Yeah.
We were going to have the same number 1 movie, and it should be for all time. It probably is, without a doubt. It maybe is not the most profitable mark. Well, it's not going to compete with Endgame because I had enough time.
Yeah.
But the movie that probably should eventually be the most profitable MCU movie because I think it's the best. Seriously, from beginning to end.
Yeah.
From the fanboy thing to the actual legit dramatic pieces of it is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And to see what they do with Wolverine further. By the way, they totally said Jackman as Wolverine will continue somehow in the MCU. Ryan Reynolds goes until you're 90 multiple times in it. If this was actually the MCU one-off for him, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, if you've not seen the Assembled, which is the back story and the behind the scenes of them making this movie, which is on Disney Plus, these two men for what could have been a tongue-in-cheek action movie with just them fighting with no plot, and we as nerd people would have been like,
Yeah.
take all my money, made a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
Yes, it's swearing. Yes, it's gratuitous violence. It is still very, very well done. So my number one is this. So with that being said, sir, Bradley, would you like to play a game?
I would love to play a game. All right, man.
We talked about this in our really quick pre-pod. I have the same movie.
Okay.
And I have it as either worst clues ever or as same plot, different characters. So I will let you, sir, decide. Do you want the version that is worst clues ever, where I'm going to give you 3 sets of 3 clues about the movie, if you can decipher it, or same plot, different character, where I give you the plot with the same actors in the movie, but with them portraying different characters in their filmography. So would you rather worst clues ever or same plot, different characters?
You know what? We're going to do same plot, different character.
Yes. 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 Okay. I'll make a deal with you. If you can't figure it out from the same plot, different characters, I'll give you the worst clues ever, see if that helps. Okay.
All right.
So
sounds good.
All right. So here we go. Are you ready?
I'm ready, man.
All right. So I will go through the synopsis and I will go through it multiple times if you need me to. So here we go. Elizabeth Swann begins to move on from Will Turner and finds true love with the greatest rival of the Sorcerer Supreme. After putting a ring on it, she unfortunately breaks the heart of Rick Grimes in the ways that The Walking Dead never could. But speaking of zombies, Sean's stepfather begins to troll the Trogs while Nanny McPhee and Professor Snape attempt to parent their Muggle children. Qui-Gon uses the Force and his particular set of skills to nurture true love as Bilbo Baggins and Xerxes realize that this isn't Middle-earth or Sparta. It is simply Christmas.
It's Love Actually?
Ding, 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 ding. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. I didn't know if I was making it hard or simple, but I really, watching Love Actually was one of my favorite movies to watch at Christmas time. The amount of people in that movie that are in so many things that we love, and and it was a kind of a low budget movie, meaning that they brought in all these actors, obviously the vast majority are British, and made one of the most fantastic movies ever.
Yeah.
So Elizabeth Swann. So by the way, one of the most heartbreaking scenes, which I love, is so the character to play, and I didn't know, so I did a little research. I did not realize that the best friend who's in love with her actually is Rick Grimes in The Walking Dead until I researched it. He looks so different.
Yeah.
But that scene with the cards, and he's like, to me, you're perfect. And then when he walks away and he just goes, enough now. Like he's made his peace, that his love will be forever. First, I'm like, oh my God, fuck Legolas. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And of course, Chiwetel Ejiofor plays her because again, one should go black. Okay, so there's that. Okay, so then, so again, Rick Grimes talked about that. So Sean's stepfather, played by Bill Nighy, sings the song "Christmas All Around Us," which is a remake of "Love Is on the Run," which is a song by the Trogs. This one, my poor fan had to deal with this one. So I pointed out that Nanny McPhee and Professor Snape are married in Love Actually, but their children are Muggles. So like, how does that work? Okay, Qui-Gon using his particular set of skills in the Force. Again, Liam Neeson to nurture true love of, and I forget the kid's name, but I do remember that he is married to Elon Musk's ex-wife. So
really?
Yes, his current wife. So he is in Nanny McPhee. He's in The Maze Runner. He's in Love Actually. His wife is actually Elon Musk, originally mistress, who he married, who he later divorced. That's his current wife. And by the way, there's text that she's the one that told him to buy Twitter. She's the one that told him to buy Twitter. Like when she put
Is that
those
why
out,
he named it X?
you just won the episode. I don't care what you said earlier. You just won the episode. My brain is melting. Like, well done. Well done,
Thank you.
friend.
Thank you.
Okay, and then in early in his career, we've got Bilbo Baggins, and of course, which a lot of people are shocked until if you've not seen the sequel to 300, Rodrigo, and I'm forgetting his last name, who plays the love interest of Laura Linney, who's the good-looking Spanish reporter, is Xerxes in both 300 and the 300 sequel. The makeup that they do on this gentleman is incredible. And then, of course, not Middle Earth, not Sparta, but it is simply Christmas. All right, my friend. So here would have been the clues. See if these would have helped you out. So the first round of clues would have been Mariah Carey, Beach Boys, Kelly Clarkson from the soundtrack. Second would have been Renee Zellweger, Julia Roberts, and Sandra Bullock. So here's my question. What do those three actresses have in common? Renee Zellweger, Julia Roberts, and Sandra Bullock. And it has to do with Love Actually. None of them are in Love Actually.
Right.
But
Well, they're definitely in the rom-com similar plots.
Yep. And they have a common thing. Renee Zellweger, Julia Roberts, and Sandra Bullock.
Did they all have the same leading man?
They did. Do you know the leading man's name?
Is that Liam Neeson?
No. It is Hugh.
Hugh Grant.
Yes, Hugh Grant. Grant. Absolutely. I would say Hugh Jackman because
who's also in Heretic this year. And Heretic
I really want to see Heretic.
Heretic probably should have made my list as well. But yeah,
I was kind of surprised it wasn't, given how much you talked about it.
Yeah.
And the last one would have been Pirates of the Caribbean, Taken, and Nanny McPhee, because each one of them stars someone is in the Love Actually. So you've got Keira Knightley in Pirates of the Caribbean, as is Bill Nighy, who's in World's End, Taken with Liam Neeson, and then Emma Thompson in Nanny McPhee. All right, so I believe you may have a game for me as well. By the way, well done. I thought I was going to trip you up more than it did. Well done.
Thank you. So you know what gave it away?
What was it?
It was the Rick Grimes.
That's
really? What I knew it was Love Actually.
Trip up people.
That's what I knew it was in Love. Yeah. That's what I knew it was Love Actually.
Okay, fair. All
right. So my game for you.
Sorry, just super quick. That's the only reason. I've watched Fear the Walking Dead, which I really like. Daryl Dixon, I like not as much as I thought I would, but I like.
Yeah,
I have not watched The Ones Who Remain, The Ones Who Live, which is another spinoff. Just the fact that Rick Grimes doesn't die. He was so annoying at the end of it. I was so ready. I was like, it made me. I've never seen the last like 2 or 3 episodes because I wanted Rick to die. I'm like, everybody else has died. Like, gotta kill Rick, but that's not deal.
I mean, Negan became the good guy. Negan and Daryl.
We all love Negan. Negan and Daryl. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We wanted Negan. By the way, you got to give again Negan or Jeffrey
Dean Morgan.
Dude, why is he not? And I've now started watching The Agency on Paramount Plus, which also stars John Hamm. I've always put Jeffrey Dean Morgan and John Hamm in the same category of why these two men. Yes, Mad Men was a thing, and Walking Dead was a thing, but they still weren't. John Hamm made a little bit more with Mad Men, but they still weren't the household names that they were. And both John Hamm and Jeffrey Dean Morgan have always been like, how on earth in worlds where the biggest, most profitable movies are when comic book characters come to life. And yes, before anybody throws out, yes, I know Jeffrey Dean Morgan was in Watchmen as a comedian. I understand that. And Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Supernatural. But how are neither of these two gentlemen, other than maybe Choice, are not bigger stars?
I can tell you why Jeffrey Dean Morgan is not as big of a star.
Okay.
2 words.
Okay.
Grey's Anatomy.
Fair. Having not really watched Grey's, but he's connected to Grey's, correct?
Yeah, he was in several episodes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he Katherine Heigl's character fell in love with him and
Of
got
course.
married. Yeah.
By the way, I don't blame her. I don't.
I mean, right.
Dude,
I mean,
talk about one of the again, back to the most underrated movies, Losers. Bro.
so good.
Losers.
So good.
We talk about that cast. You've got
Chris Evans.
You got Chris Evans. You got Jeffrey Dean Morgan. You've got you got Idris Elba. You've got so many great stars. And that by the way, that comic book is, I think, is a Marvel. I'm not Marvel. I think that comic book is actually a DC property. It's one of their imprints. But I think Losers actually is a DC property. I think it's a Wildstorm.
It is. Yeah.
Dude. So good. But anyway, continue on, my friend. All right.
Oh no. So my game for you is I'll bill you later. Now this is where I'm gonna give you a movie and you have to tell me the top 5 billed actors listed on IMDb.
And you said it's not Elf, right?
To be in the correct spot.
Okay.
The 1 through 5.
Okay.
But this one might be a little easier because I did not know that you liked Red One as much as you liked Red One.
I did
not like Red One.
What?
I hated that movie.
Oh my gosh.
I could not stand that movie, man. Like, I don't know.
Loved it.
Dude, like, I hated Chris Evans in it. I think Chris Evans and The Rock's character should have swapped.
Fair. I do think
his accent in it.
Chris Evans, the Brooklyn accent. By the way, when he played Captain America, who's from Brooklyn, he did not have that strong of a Brooklyn accent as he tried to do. And you saying that, partly because The Rock looks like he would be that badass is out there, like just scamming people.
Yeah.
Versus Chris Evans, you could go. The only reason Chris Evans is formidable because he has magical powers. I get that.
Yeah.
I get the look of an elf the size of The Rock. By the way, real quick, I knew we'll do a Royal Rumble in a few weeks. Do you think he's at the Royal Rumble, The Rock?
Yes.
Okay. Good enough.
Yes, I do. I don't think he's going to be in it, but I think he's going to be there.
Do you think he's at the Raw Netflix debut? Because you've got for the Ulafala, you've got Roman versus
Solo
Sikoa. What if he interferes and he walks off with the Ulafala?
I'm all for that. That would be.
Now we've got the true. By the way, we got to do it, sir. Now I would acknowledge him. All right, my brother.
I would too. Absolutely.
Okay. Bill me later. Let's do it.
All right, man. I'll bill you later. I want you to name the top 5 billed cast of Red One.
Okay. Remind me for this though. Okay. Do I got to get them in order or just get the top 5?
I'll tell you what. I'll give you 2 points. If you could just name the top 5, that's 1 point. If you can put them in the right order, that's 2 points.
Okay, so the top 2 are gonna be pretty easy. So first off is Rocky or Dwayne Johnson, however you want to call him. I think his character's name was something Drift.
Yeah, you don't need their character names.
So Rock is in first position, and then I'm gonna put Chris Evans in second position just because they're the 2 biggest names in that Hollywood wise going there. Okay, so then my next thought would have been J.K. Simmons, but and I'm also trying to think how to move. And I know you said it's based on IMDb, but IMDb tends to follow how they're building the actual film. I know J.K. Simmons' name came really late in the credits, and if you've seen Red One, not to be a spoiler, he's not in the movie a lot past the beginning. So I'm not thinking J.K. is number 3. The movie is a buddy movie, so much of it is The Rock and Chris Pratt. But I'm thinking Hollywood name, because really the person that plays the witch is probably the most, to be the 3rd most common character, but because I don't know the actress's name, and more importantly, because I think
Kieran Tripka.
Yeah, she's cute too. I'm gonna go with, also because I've been loving Elementary, so it's maybe fueling. I'm gonna go with Lucy Liu, number 3.
Okay.
Now I'm going JK. I'm going to go JK. Not just kidding. Now I'm going to go JK.
Okay, so before you get in your number 5, I'm going to tell you what, man. You are right for the first 4.
Okay, now that's fresh. I can't wait for the
Now I just wanted to add that on to you.
Okay,
I just want to add it on here. So
So,
now you
let me go
you
back.
could
Okay,
take this one.
Rock, Chris Evans, Lucy
Lucy
Lemons,
Liu.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah.
Okay, so IMDb would go name value over necessarily point in the movie. So who's another? I don't think would be the witch. Who was in? Shoot. The Mrs. Claus character. Bonnie Hunt.
Bonnie, you got it. You got it, man. You got it. All five. Great job. We both won tonight, man. Well done, man. Well done.
We have nothing else in our lives, which is fair. Fair.
Right.
By the way, this is what you can do when you're nerd positive. All right, sir.
Before we get into anything else, we got to talk a little bit of are there any movies that you are excited about for 2025?
I'm gonna kill me to actually say this, but absolutely, I want to see what Guns and the DCEU does with Superman. So I'm really excited for that. I'm really excited for Captain America, New World Order. I think that's going to be really good. By the fact that we know he's Brave New World, not New World Order, because we know, and they've said this before, because it seems like this is going to be a thing. The actual ending of the ending of the Mission Impossible franchise, I think
that Final Reckoning.
Yeah, that would be good. Wicked Part 2, abso-freaking-lutely. And of course, the Fantastic Four reboot. I mean,
Karate Kids Legends is going to be in there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep, Karate Kids Legends, Jurassic World Rebirth.
Wolfman is interesting. I don't know if I may wait till it streams, but Wolfman looks interesting.
Oh, dude, we can go.
Okay.
Yep.
Wolfman definitely looks interesting.
Apparently, Guillermo del Toro has a Frankenstein movie coming out in 2025 as well.
Really?
With Oscar Isaac as Dr. Victor Frankenstein.
Well, there we go.
And Jacob Elordi as the monster.
Okay. A movie that no one has asked, but I get why it comes out on the day before Valentine's. I just did a quick scroll. Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy. Again, a movie that no one, I think, has asked for a fourth Bridget Jones movie. But I look at Isla Fisher and Chiwetel Ejiofor are in it, so that has some potential.
Yeah, The Running Man with Glenn Powell.
Yes, The Monkey looks good. I will say that. Any other
F1 with Brad Pitt?
Yeah. Any other ones that seem really?
How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, but that's got to be the live action version as well.
Yep.
Disney is very hot and cold and hit and miss. Hot and cold. And a movie, and again, I will probably, or we can definitely do it together. Well, a movie that will definitely be Sinners, but also it comes out right after Sinners, actually. No, I'm such a fan of the first one, and I thought there's no need to do a second one, but they're making The Accountant Part 2. Which is a very good Ben Affleck movie. J.K. Simmons is also in it.
Oh,
I just have, if you in The Accountant, just really quick.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck plays an assassin who is also who's also an accountant he's a criminal accountant with a soul who's autistic. So it plays into a lot of sometimes uncomfortable tropes when it comes to that. And I just saw this. And of course, Thunderbolts, right? We got to go.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know do we know what role Wendell Pierce is playing in Thunderbolt? I saw he's in the cast.
I do not. But I think we'll probably look at them.
I love him so much in Elsbeth. I love him. And of course, there's everything he's done, right? But he, to me, is such a great. Oh, and I've just searched that. It says Thunderbolts. He's uncredited. He's also in Superman as Perry White. So, I mean, talk about someone making money from both sides of the house. They're good.
Right.
Wendell Pierce. Anything else that's really super big? Again, I think you already mentioned F1. We got Superman that comes out July 11th, so that's right for my birthday. Dude, did you see they're making a new I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel?
Yes.
Fantastic Four First Steps looks really good.
Yeah.
The Secret to the Bad Guys. I like the first, so I'll probably check that out.
Mhm.
Saw 11, which again, if you're gonna watch Saw, you in for a penny and for a pound.
Yeah.
The Running Man you already mentioned. Now You See Me 3, that can wait. I mean, Avatar. I have just never been a huge Avatar person. And then we get towards the end of the year. At least we've already had released. We've got the big name. The big one is gonna be. There's again. You can already tell. Look when we look at this. You've got on December 5th. You got Friday Nights at Freddy's 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the 19th, you've got Avatar: Fire and Ash, which is opening opposite the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And then literally as of this point, nothing significant for the rest of 2025 after December 19th, the last 2 weeks of the year, because I think they're just conceding Avatar at that moment. That they're giving Avatar the rest of 2025 and probably July of 2026. So
yeah, that sounds about right.
All right, buddy.
Awesome. So let's see here. Do you got a battle? You got an honest ad?
I do have an honest ad. Are you ready,
Let's
my
hear
friend?
it. I'm ready.
So, Bradley, before I get started with my honest ad, do you have a beverage, sir?
I do. I have a Mountain Dew Zero.
That will work. So here we go with my honest ad, because this is talking about the year end as honest ad. So here we go. The end of the year is drawing near, and it's time to reflect with hope and cheer. As we close the door on 2024, we have memories that created applause, some whimpers, and even a snore. Deadpool and Wolverine gave the multiverse one last chance. We got Dogpool, Gambit, and Jennifer Lawrence in leather pants. Joker 2 was a film full of hype and some level of demand, but too much singing and not enough Margot Robbie in her hot pants made us feel scammed. Finally, The Acolyte debuted on Disney Plus. The show about the Sith. How could it possibly be a bust? But a boring plot, and those weird ass twins. Thankfully, season 2 will not darken our streaming platforms again. We also lost legends whose talents brightly shone, from Dr. Ruth to Carl Weathers, and of course, the greatest of all, Mr. James Earl Jones. In music, film, and TV, your talents will continue to live. So we raise our drinks and thanks for all who have helped us become proudly nerd positive.
Hey, cheers. Well done. Well done. All right, man. Who is your better than us human of the week?
So real quick, for those, we touched this on the pre-pod, but Jimmy Carter passed away earlier today at the age of 100. It's not a political statement, but you're looking at truthfully a absolutely good human being. President Jimmy Carter was absolutely that. Someone that did more in his post-political life than he ever did as president, and did more in his post-political life than most of us will ever do. So thank you so much for your service, Mr. Carter. Rest in peace, rest in heaven, or rest wherever your belief system allows you to believe. And then my original Better Than Us human of the week, I got to get to my my sister from another mister, my friend Nisha, who her birthday is in the month of December. This is only the second pod we did in the month of December, so I want to give her some quick thanks, some big ups, and have a great birthday, sissy. And you, my friend, who will be your Better Than Us human of the week?
You know what? I'm gonna shadow you and say, President Jimmy Carter.
All right.
You know what, man? You did more for the country probably after presidency.
Absolutely.
And and you helped many people.
That's a statement on our world. On you have the ability for lots of reasons to have greater impact when you're not president, regardless of what party. You have the ability, if your true mission is doing the most good, you can honestly do the most good. As being president gives you a certain cachet, right? You can probably do more good as a former president than you are able to do as a sitting president.
Absolutely.
Just how the world works, just how our world works. For right, wrong, or indifferent. That's kind of how things play out.
All right. With all that being said, Brian,
sir.
where can we find you?
You can find me on the Book of Faces at Brian Stephen. That's what the S actually stands for. You can find me on Facebook. Give me a like, give me a follow, give me a friend request. I try and keep my content funny and occasionally weird.
All right. Well, you can find me all over the interwebs as well: Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. You can support the show at buymeacoffee.com/nerdpositive or patreon.com/nerdpositive. All right, Brian. I think we have we've hit max levels of awesome. What do you got for us?
As always, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us with our podcast. Thank you for surviving the pandemic and now being nerd positive. As always, before we end the show, we want to remind you that please remember that never retreat and never surrender, and goodies never say die.
Every time you feel stupid, you just got a little smarter. And by the way, squirrels' cheeks are also their nut sacks. Remember, turtles carry their homes on their backs. You're carrying far less and doing great.
See you in
Have a good day.
2025, folks.
2025.